Okay, there you are, Alexandria. Okay. All right. So now that we just finished our credit memos and what you can do with them, and we just learned about bad debt, and we learned the two ways of doing bad debt. So just a little refresher and a little reminder. If you're using QuickBooks and you're the tax accountant, you can go ahead and write off the bad debt right away as your bad debt, because you have the capability to claim those losses. Okay? If you are the accountant, which I'm pretty sure 95% of you guys will move on forth, and you're going to start off as either the accountant or whatever it is. If you are the accountant, you need to follow the rules of GAAP, and GAAP is going to tell you that you need to create an allowance account before you can start claiming your bad debt. So again, the allowance for doubtful accounts is a contra account to accounts receivable. So in other words, if you look at as a in a window kind of situation where you're taking a temporary placeholder for the debt that someone owes you, and you're leaving there you're transferring into a new account for the time being until you've exhausted 100%, and then you're able to claim the bad debt through an adjustment entry at the end of the period. So again, you will be tested on how to do the tax write-off, which is going to use the bad debt expense. Okay? You are not going to be tested on the allowance for doubtful accounts. But going on forth into the future, when you are doing going out into the real world, you will be using the allowance for doubtful accounts. Okay, anyways, so now that after that, so no one has any questions about that. So if not, I'm going to go ahead and move into customer statements. So again, because our customers can allow us to have if we can send them invoices, right? And if a customer likes our services and they create multiple invoices, what we can do is we can send each customer a statement of their own. All right. So this is what we can do. So you can create the customer statement via on the home page. This one is just showing you how to set it up, making sure that you have statements as part of your setup in your QuickBooks. So here we're going to go ahead and we're going to create our customer statements. So here, as you can see, we have statements right here on our home page. I believe you can also do it on your customer menu bar. You'll be able to go here and be able to create your statements here. But for this one, yes, you can create statements. So if I were to create my customer statements, okay, and I think those are the only two ways you can do it. I don't think you can do it through the customer center. Let me just double confirm that though. Am I able to create statements through here? I can create estimates, pay it, sales receipt, statement charges. Oh yes, I guess I can create statements here as well. So you can, yes, so that means, let me see if I can do it under new transactions. Can I create statements through here? No, I can't. I can only create estimates, invoices, sale receipts, statement charges, but I can't create a statement from here. Okay. And then at the bottom, you can either run a report, but let me see if I could do my statements here. No, I can't do my statements here. So there's only 3 ways you can do it. You can either do it from the customer menu bar, okay? The home page, the statements icon there, and you can only right click this and create the statements here. You're not able to do it on manage transaction or the new transaction at the top, okay? So, all right, so I'm going to go ahead and close this out because instead of doing an individualized statements, I want to be able to do it for all my customers. So that's the cool thing about the statements is if I were to create a statement, I'd be able to create for everyone. Now, all right, so let me go ahead and see what date I need to choose and what I am going to be doing. So I'm going to be doing March 31st of 2019. All right, so let's go ahead and follow that. So we're going to do March of last year. So March 2000, that's May. Two more. March 2019, and we wanted to be able to create statements on the 31st of March. All right, and then here is going to be the statement period, which we want it from. Let's see what we want it from. We want it from January all the way to March 31st. So we're giving them a quarterly statement. So I'm going to go ahead and validate that I want everything from January 1st all the way to March 31st. So I want that whole entire period between these 3 months. All right, and then I'm going to go ahead and let's see what else I want from this one. I want to make statements for all the customers here. And so each question is going to actually ask you a series of questions, okay? For example, it's going to ask you, well, do you want to have this and this on there? If you do, what would you like on it? So I'm going to go ahead and look at those questions a little more in depth. So I want to create a customer statement for all of my customers, right? Here it gives me a few options. I can either do multiple customers, I could do one customer, and if I do one customer, I have to be specific on which customer I want. If I want to just do customers of a certain type, so remember we have commercial customers, or I'm sorry, we have business customers. We actually have individual customers or referral customers. So we have that option where we can actually choose if we just want to target or send out statements to just a specific group of customers. Or we can do a preferred send okay, so no, we go here first. So it's going to ask us what kind of selections, like what kind of customers we want to see. Now I'm only going to do all of them. Now if you want to do specifics, you can view who your customers are, so maybe you can select them, but in this case I want to set it to everybody in my entire book. All right, now it's going to give you the questions here. Now it's going to ask you what kind of template you want to use. And I think this one, do we have the Academy Photography one? I don't think so. We have just the Intuit standard statement. Okay, again, you can customize the statements. We learned it in chapter 12. But in this case, we only have the Intuit one. Okay, and you could still customize it from here too. Let's maybe like you don't want to add something that's already on there. Okay, so here's some of the questions that you want to be able to put on each statement. So create one statement per customer. So every statement is going to include whatever you choose here. I have print the due date on the transaction. Yes, that would be very nice to have on there. Other questions it's going to ask you is show invoice item details on the statements. So this is like giving them a list of what they actually bought. I don't care too much for it just because it's already on their invoice. There's no point to send them a second statement with the detailing everything that they owe you for. The next question is print statement by billing address zip code. You don't have to do that one. That's more optional. So that one I don't think it's necessary because we're already gonna send them out anyways. So here we want to definitely print the due dates on the transactions. Now here are things that you do not want to create statements for. Okay, so this is where we can have the option. Okay, do we want to send it to everybody? And then here are the questions. So do you want to send them with 0 balances? Of course, you don't want to waste paper when it comes to sending your statements. So I'm not going to choose that. Wait, hold on. Do not create statements. All right, wait. Yes, I want to keep that. Yeah, I want to select that. I do not want to create statements for customers with 0 balances. Okay, so if you guys remember, if you looked at my customer center, a lot of those have 0 balances. So no, I definitely don't want to create statements for those that don't even owe us anything. That's a waste of our paper. And they're going to receive a bill from us and they're going to be like, what? Why are you sending me a bill that says I owe nothing? Right? It doesn't make sense. And if in that case, if you don't want to do that, you can also send based on an amount that they owe you. So if they have a certain amount that you want to bill out or to send a statement for, you can also toggle it here. Now the next one is going to ask you with no account activity. Yeah, I do not want to create a statement if they have no account activity. So for those customers who've been your customers like 10 years ago or maybe 5 years ago, they will not create any activity with you. So you definitely don't want to create statements based on that. Okay. And then lastly, it's for inactive customers. Of course, you definitely don't. If you've already toggled it, whether they're active or inactive, you definitely don't want to create statements for those people because, again, if they're inactive, they don't use your services anymore. Why am I receiving a bill from you? I mean, maybe like a promotional item saying, hey, I understand that you're a loyal customer of ours. We want to get you back into our game. Then yes, you can be able to do that. But this is the purpose of statements. We don't want to bother the people that are no longer active with us. Okay, so yes, I've already validated all of those things. So after that, I'm gonna go ahead and so what you can do is we don't have a printer, so I won't be able to do this, but what I can do is I'm actually able to preview my customers' statements. So here I have this one. This one is from Maria Cruz. She owes us, this is all of her account activity since January. Now, she's been pretty active with us. I know that she used us for 2 separate photo shoots individually for her promo, and she also did a branch opening store for her. So she used our services to take pictures for that event. So here we can see that if I think if I click this, if I actually click it, it will expand it a little bigger for me. If I don't, then it will make it smaller. And then I can go ahead, if I roll down or scroll down, I should be able to see the next person's invoice, which is for Mr. For Miranda's Corner. All right, I'd be able to look at the invoice, and that is or the statement, and this is what it would look like. Okay, if you don't like the way it is, you want to add your logo, you want to add another column, that is what the the customizing little tab over there is for. So then you can you can customize and personalize your statement so it looks a little more flattering. All right, and it's more toward, and it kind of, it makes it more personal because it has your your company logo on it and whatever fancy things that you want to be able to add on here. Okay, so I am done with this, so I can go ahead and I'm going to click close at the top. And then that is customers' statements for you. Okay, any questions about customers' statements? All right. So, okay, so I'm good. Again, I don't have a printer, so I'm going to just go ahead and close that out. Okay, so the next section that we're going to be looking into is, okay, so there is assigning finance charges. Now, this is something that I would actually prefer you guys to read on your own, just because I do want to go ahead and highlight what's more important. In this case, this one is going to ask you to actually not do this particular practice, but I would like for you to read this on your own, and if you do have questions about it, go ahead and ask me for when we do the review and stuff, okay? So I'll be able to help you with this, okay? But in this case, I'm not going to go over it. I want to go over collecting sales tax, okay? So it's pretty straightforward. Sales tax, okay? Every state has a sales tax. I believe there's only like maybe 2, 3, I think there's 5 states that do not have sales tax. You have to be able to know which states they are and which your company is going to be located in. But for most majority of the states that are here, we do charge sales tax, okay? And it's going to be based on the state as well as the county that you live in or doing business in will also include an additional sales tax on top of that. So for example, here in Nevada, our sales tax for just Nevada is actually 4.6%. And then because we live in the county of Clark, that we get charged an additional 3.775%. Okay, this is the most recent update to the sales tax as of 2020. Okay, and we will actually get a chance to actually look into being able to charge for that amount. Okay, so here we understand that sales tax is inevitable and what we need to do to take our measures to charge our customers for it, and then take our measures to set up a way so we are able to pay the sales tax to the either to the state or to the agency that is going to be collecting this money. Okay, so here we're going to go ahead and look into the manage sales tax button, which should be in your it should be here in your vendors section. So if I were to tap that, it would it will populate this is to set it up, right? What you can do here is this is the same. This came from our initial interview. If you guys remember from way back then in chapter 12 when we set up our initial interview and we did the questions, the very question it asked you was, do you even charge sales tax? And since we said yes, so this is why we can be able to manage our sales tax here. All right, this is where we get to choose who when we're creating our liabilities and who and where are we paying them. Now, you're also able to set this up via edit preferences, okay? when you go to edit preferences here in this window here, you do have the option for sales tax right here. And obviously it's for the company. You can't personalize it. But here you're able to say, yes, I charge it, and for how much, and for what amount, and what you're going to be using these amounts for. So again, this is just setting it up on your account. Now again, we've already set it up in our books already, or this is a pre-made one. So you have the option to set it up here on the vendor's homepage, or you can actually go to the vendor's menu and you'd be able to find your sales tax right here. And it's going to ask you, do you want to manage your sales tax? You want to pay your sales tax? You want to adjust them? Whatever it is, you have the option here on your vendor's option. Okay. Now, now that we have that on setting up our sales tax, I also want to talk about what is a sales tax code. So what a sales tax code is it's basically, it groups you into a specific group that basically it looks at what the situation is and what you need to do and how you're going to be taxed at. So for example, if you guys remember, we have a few groups. We have out-of-state tax codes. We have a service tax code. Let me see. I forgot where to find it. I think it's in the same spot. So we go to lists, and you should see sales tax codes. Let me see. Sales tax codes right here. So if we look, we have only, we have about, I can't count. We have 5 sales tax codes, okay? So if we're a regular civilian or a regular customer, we're going to just tax them at a regular sales tax, okay? So that's what this tax code is. If it's a government, entity, then we're going to charge it whatever the government's going to charge us for. NFR is a non-for-profit, or so NFP, not R. Non-for-profit is going to be for your nonprofit organizations, XYZ, out of state, okay? And we also have service charges. So as we were like going through all the forms and stuff, we noticed that we've been changing certain tax codes for certain things. Now, if you guys know, services is tax free, okay? Because there is a catch to services. Services, all right, there's a possibility that you can it's labor that you're paying for. It's not a product, okay? So when it comes to labor, you can't tax labor. No, you can absolutely not tax labor. So that is why when we do services on our invoices, you see that we're not getting taxed for it, okay? And then here, if it's a product that we sell, so such as my photo paper, of course, you have to charge sales tax no matter what, because it is a government/federal state law that you need to charge tax for selling any products in your store. Okay, so here we're just looking at what these are and what they basically determine, like what you can charge. Okay, so that's about it for that one. Now, the one thing that I do want to be looking at in particularly will be our the items that we're allowed to be charging for. Okay, so if we go to our items list and we go and we search for sales tax items, here we have one right here, and it's for Costa. What is it for? Contra Costa. Okay, so that is an area, okay, that we can be charged for. Sales tax item here is for out of state. So yes, out of state obviously has different tax rates. So That is one of them. Um, and um, and then we have Santa Clara, which is the county in California. We do have a Santa Clara County, and they may charge either a higher rate or a lower rate than San Jose, or San Francisco, right? Or even if we go down to Orange County, it's definitely much drastically different, okay, depending on the area that you live in. So, for example, I gave an example, right? I used to live in California in Orange County. I would be so baffled when I make a purchase in regular Orange County, right? It's actually 1% higher if I step foot in LA County. And the funny thing is, I live on the border. So, like, if I just turn on one street, it becomes, I'm in Long Beach. And Long Beach is considered LA territory. And I was really baffled when I made a purchase of one item in Orange County, and for the same exact item that I can get in Long Beach, they end up charging me 1% higher. So yes. So that example is because of the county that you belong to, they can charge a higher rate, but state is already given to you. You just have to do your research. All right. So in this example, what I was explaining is I actually want to go ahead and take the time to create a tax item. Okay. So I'm going to go ahead and click New. Now, what I'm going to be showing you, this is, for example, when you do go ahead and move forth into the real world and you are using QuickBooks. What you can do is you're going to have to create these sales tax items regardless. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do a sales tax item, okay? And I'm going to call this one Nevada. I'm going to go ahead and call this sales tax item Nevada state tax, okay? Nevada state tax. All right, description is going to be, sales tax in the state of Nevada. All right, oopsies, I forgot the D. In Nevada, right? Because we know it's a sales tax, there's not much information that you're actually going to be really filling in here, except for how much is that percentage. Well, I already told you that it is actually currently, as of right now, it is 4.6%. All right. And then who is going to be my collector? Since I didn't actually have a, since I didn't actually enter this part in just yet, I'm going to go ahead and use what they used before. So they used the State Board of Equalization. All right, this is just a scenario. And I'm going to click OK. Now, here, I have a Nevada state tax right here. And that's not what I want. I mean that's not, who charges 4.6%? The state of Nevada does. Okay? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and create a new item. And I'm also going to create another sales tax item. And this time, this one's going to be for Clark County, for Clark County sales tax. Right? And in my description, it says sales tax, okay, in Clark County. All right, I'm just going to make it more. And then here, I actually told you that it is 3.775% as of today. And same thing, I'm going to put it in like this. All right, and I'm going to click OK. Now, if I look carefully, right, I have two separate entities of my state tax and my county tax, right? So I did choose the same organization that it's going to be sent in, but in reality, no, that's not going to happen. you're going to send the Nevada state tax to an entity that collects state taxes, and then for the county, you're going to go find your local government, and you're going to find their agency that is going to be collecting your Clark County sales tax for. So in this case, this is exactly why I separated. Reason being is because we have two different entities that are going to be collecting this money. So that is one reason why I have to do it separately. However, on my sales receipt, I can't double tax somebody. Okay? If I can't double tax somebody, then how in the world am I going to charge for Clark County sales tax for just in general? So this is where I have to go here, and I'm going to have to create a new item. And this time, instead of a sales tax item, I'm going to create a sales tax group. All right. And this is going to allow me to take multiple things that I've already entered, combine them together to create one sales tax. So if I were to go ahead and say this is, I'm going to go ahead and write CCNV sales tax. So I know that this is Clark County, Nevada sales tax. All right, and then it's gonna fill in my description, and I'm gonna write sales tax in Clark County, Nevada. Okay. And what it's going to allow me to do is it's going to allow me to enter in my tax item. So my first tax item I recognized was Nevada state tax. All right. And then for my second item, I'm going to enter in Clark County. Okay. Clark County. And what's going to happen is it's going to create a new sales tax item, giving me the total of 8.375, which is the actual correct sales tax that I am going to be charging for my customers. This exact number right here. Okay. Yes, it's a hassle to do split here, but again, realistically, in realistic terms, I may have to pay a separate organization for the separate taxes. So Nevada state tax, I may have to go to a different organization, and that's different from my local government, Clark County location. So here I validate that the addition is correct. It's 8.375, and I'm going to click OK. So every time I charge for this tax, I'm going to charge them with my CCNV sales tax. Okay? Does this make any sense? And do you see why I had to do this? Okay? All right. So this is also an example. So for example, I bought something from something on Amazon, right? They only charged me 4% because it shipped from out of state into the state. But it didn't charge me for my for the county I was in. It only charged me for the state tax. So yes, if for anything like that, for any reason that you don't have to specifically, and you're delivering them straight to their house, you only need to charge them if it's out of state, whatever state that they are going to charge you for. And that's it. Okay. Any questions to creating sales tax? Okay. Yes. Oh, yes.
I have a question. How about if by any chance one of your clients is not from the same state you're in? Do you have to tax them in their state taxes or the taxes from the state that you're in?
Okay, so it would be that. So let's say, okay, so we already know that this company's in California, right? And I live in Nevada. I say I want your services, so it's going to charge Nevada because the service is being done in Nevada. Or I'm sorry, I want to buy a product. It's going to be charged the Nevada tax because it's taking it from California and you're purchasing it you're going to purchase it in Nevada. Okay? So if you're out of state, it's going to be whatever state that you're purchasing it from. Okay?
Okay.
So for again, that's why we have the option to bill someone or to invoice somebody who's not in the same area as me. Okay? I can bill this out of state for Nevada because they are purchasing something from me. Okay? If I lived in California and I'm purchasing something from Nevada, then I would have to pay California tax on that.
Okay.
Okay? Does that make sense?
Yes.
Okay.
So Lynn,
Yes.
so if we are here in Nevada,
Mm-hmm.
so in reality, we are using the group tax, the
Mm.
group sales, the sales tax
Mm-hmm.
group, right?
Yes. Yes.
So we don't have to separate the Nevada sales tax and the Clark County sales tax. So we are using the group sales tax, right?
Yes. But
Okay.
I do want to, the reason why I had it separate is because in case my local does not accept Nevada state sales tax, like collecting wise, it's a completely separate entity I need to go to. I would have to separate them because I can't just pay, I can't pay all my sales tax to one agency. I might have to split them up and charge one or pay one for my Clark County and pay Nevada at a different agency, at a different place. So that's exactly why I separated them. It's because I have to pay two different people when I'm dealing with sales tax. So that's why I created the group, because when you charge somebody, you can't charge them tax twice. Like you can't just say I'm including Nevada tax and I'm including Clark County tax. You cannot put that on there. It has to be one line item only. And QuickBooks can only recognize one item at a time.
Okay.
Okay?
So there is a way of a way of determining how to do that.
Correct. And this would be it. Now, if you are lucky enough to be able to pay one entity or one place, then you don't have to split these two items up. You can just go ahead and just create a regular sales tax item, name it Clark County tax, and type in 8.375% because you're only paying one entity. You're only paying one company all the taxes. You don't need to split them up.
Okay. Thank
Okay?
you.
Mm-hmm. All right. Any more questions about sales tax? All right, so I already went ahead and talked about sales tax codes. Yes. And actually, we will be talking about how to collect those sales tax. Let me go ahead and skip this out here. I believe, if I'm not mistaken, you learn about collecting sales tax. Okay, no, it's right here. So this is calculating. So I want you to go ahead and read that section right here. Now, this one is creating sales reports. Okay, so yes, so I am correct about this one. You won't be looking into collecting sales tax until we go learn about our adjustment chapter. So the adjustment chapter is going to teach you how we actually pay these individuals for our taxes, okay? Because that is something that you would typically do towards the end of the period. You don't have to pay your sales tax every single day to those entities, right? The reason why we need to keep a separation is because our customers are giving us the sales tax money that we need to go ahead and put forth to pay those agencies, okay? That's the price of doing business is we need to collect money from them and we need to take that money and we need to pay those organizations for us doing business, okay? So again, I believe that is chapter 13 to how to pay off your sales tax that you've collected, okay? So basically what it is now is every time we collect a sales tax from somebody, we are creating a liability because that money's not ours. We did not earn this sales tax. It's not something that we charge our customers. It is what the state and the county is charging the customers for us doing business. So therefore, we're holding on to money that isn't ours. So it's a liability, and we owe that to the state and the county. So again, we'll be looking on how to pay those off in chapter 13. So the next portion that we're going to be looking at sales reports. Now there's only 2 sales reports that this chapter covers, and it's going to be customer balance or open balances. So again, so the great thing about QuickBooks is every entry or every single thing that you do in here, you can create any report based off of on it. So again, since I'm looking at my sales reports, I'm going to go ahead and go to customers, and I'm sorry, not customers, reports. You're going to go to your reports menu at the top, and you're going to go ahead and either look at your customers and payables. So, receivables, I'm sorry. Okay, so I don't see my customers. I see my sales. So customers is above here. And I also have my sales reports. Okay, so customers, I can look at what their balance is. So let's look at all the people that owe us money, right? We want to be able to see how much they owe us and what do they owe us for. So here I'm going to go to customer balance details, okay? And that's going to populate everything about our customers and what they owe us, okay? So that's really cool about that, all right? We can also look at our we can also look at we can also look at our customers and see our accounts receivables, right? We can see whether they increased or decreased, right? And then we can also look at other things such as collections report, like how are we doing on collecting this money? Other ones that I also want to show you is sales. You can actually keep track of your sales, right? Remember we talked about classes. Classes is one way that we can keep track of our sales, right? We can say, oh, I want to know what my profit margins are here in San Jose versus the Walnut Creek. You can definitely do that. Here you can also look at sales by customers. See who is, so if we do sales by customers, we can go ahead and say, I want to see all my customers. So we can see which customers frequently use our services or make purchases from us, okay? So here we notice that Cruz Maria seems to like our services. She used us a lot in the very beginning of the year. We got Tim Fang. Well, that's the one I just created, the fake one. And then we have Bob Mason. Bob Mason likes our services as well, so he's a frequent customer of ours, okay? You can also do sales based on the items that we sell, okay? So you can go ahead and do a detailed, items detailed. And what you're going to see is I want all my products that I sell in my store. And it's going to see Well, it looks like here that your cameras are doing okay. Not many people buy them. Our cases, we only had one person buy it. Our frames, we only had a few people buy it as well. But what was most popular was our frames, and our parts was also very popular. Our premium packages is what sells the most. Okay, as you can see here, our parts is going to be our individual packages that we sell. So as you can see, we do better on our packages, right? That includes service and the product for us. Okay, and see, we do a lot better when we do indoor services, right? A lot of people use us for indoor photo sessions. Okay, so you can see what is actually making your company profit more. Now we are a photo photography store, so our primary core business would technically, we could just already see it from there. Most of our sales is going to be from us doing our photo sessions. So as we can see, yes, it is true. We can validate that most of our sales do come from our photo sessions. All right, and then of course you guys can go ahead and just go ahead and look at each one here, because there is a lot to go over, but you know, it's just going to be based on what you guys feel is what do you call it, appropriate for your company. All right, and this one we have a bunch of different types of reports that you can do. All right, and I think that is it for chapter 3. Okay, any questions for chapter 3 whatsoever? Okay, so good. I expected, right, that we'd be finishing within 1 hour. Okay, so let's go ahead and answer our review questions. So let me go ahead and scroll down to the last page and go over the review questions. So, okay, review questions. Number 1, okay? Okay, so customer statements, okay? Right? That's what it's asking, is what's going to be on the customer statement, right? It provides a summary of all accounts, okay? Accounts receivable activity. Yes, okay, for a customer, okay, during a given period of time that you specify, okay? Is it B, are not available in QuickBooks? Well, we already know it's available in QuickBooks, so that automatically is going to be eliminated. Letter C says automatically assesses and calculates financial charges for overdue, etc., overdue charges and whatnot. Okay, or D, it should only be created and mailed if the customer owes us over $500. What is so basically what this question is asking is what is true about customer statements?
A.
A is yes, A is correct. Okay? So again, B is not true. We have them in QuickBooks, so that's wrong. C, okay, this is where I told you guys to be able to read it on your own. This is where you can create you can add additional charges to your statement, okay? For those people who have overdue statements or overdue invoices, you can apply extra charges and additional things to your statement, okay? And I asked you guys to read that because it actually asks me to not do it. Okay, so I need you to read that. So if you read that part, you would know it's not automatic. You would have to add it yourself. Okay? And then lastly, should only be no. this is opinion based, and it says for a amount of $500. No, but you can toggle that if in case you do want it to only send out if it's for $500 or more. You can toggle this feature. So yes, A is the correct answer. All right, number 2. Which of the following options is not available? Okay, again, not available on the available credit window. Okay, is it A, give a refund? Is it B, retained as available credit? C, apply to an invoice? Or D, use with receive payment?
D.
Yes, D is definitely not one of them. There's only 3 options you have, and these 3 are it right here. Okay, so again, this pop-up window happens when you've created your credit memo, and it's going to ask you, well, what do you want to do with the credit memo? And these are the options. Do you want to refund the customer? Do you want to keep it as a credit? Or do you want to apply it to an invoice? Okay, good. Number 3, okay, what is the best way to write off a bad debt? Okay, is it A, delete the original invoice? B, create a credit memo using a bad debt item and applying the credit to the invoice, to the past invoice? Or is it C, create a credit memo for the amount of the past due invoice and retain the available credit? Or is it D, any of the above?
B.
It is B. Yes, correct. Now, any of the above can kind of think, because you kind of when you're looking at C, C actually sounds kind of right? It's a possibility. But in this case, because we're dealing with bad debt expense, right? We're writing off bad debt. You cannot retain it as a credit because it's going to hurt you more than anything. You definitely want to apply it to the past invoice, but you definitely should not apply it as a retained credit, available credit, whatever you want to call it. So C is wrong, and A, delete the original invoice. You can never, ever, ever delete anything in QuickBooks. Now, the reason why I said D could have been a possible answer, because when you read the book, if you're dealing with a cash basis, it does say when you're running off bad debt, you can just delete the invoice. Okay? But we don't know what we're assuming. We're assuming we're just going to be writing off the bad debt. So B is the correct answer. All right. Number 4, okay, in which of the following situations would you create a credit memo? All right. You need to record a canceled order, okay? Or B, a customer returns the merchandise to you. Or C, a customer requests a refund. Or D, any of the above.
D.
Yes. Yes, these are the 3. There's 4 of them, but yes, these can be options to you for creating a credit memo. All right, last question is number 5. The credit memo number should be A, the next number after the credit memo number on the last credit memo. Or is it B, the next number after the invoice number? Or is it C, any unique number? Or is it D, the same number as the invoice with the letter C at the end of it? Okay.
D.
It is D. That this is strongly advised for you to use. Okay. It's not wrong if you don't do it this way. It's just strongly advised for you to keep track, but also to make sure that you know which credit memo goes to which invoice. So again, that's here, right here, credit memos is going to be the same as the invoice number with the credit memo. Okay? So good. All right. And we're good on time. Let's see if we can, let me see which one's shorter. Okay, so we got question number 2 is only 4 questions long.
No, it's not. It's 13.
Okay, let's do question number 1 then. Question number 1 only has 5 questions. So I'm going to go ahead and let's go ahead and do that, and then I can go ahead and we can call it a day. So I'm going to go ahead and properly close out my company. So I'm going to click close my company, and it's going to close all my proper windows. Again, it's not going to ask me to save because it automatically saves. So you want to make sure that you want to make sure that when you close out all your windows that everything closes out and you get to your home page. And then this one, because all the files are portable files, I'm going to go ahead and look into my documents to go ahead and find that specific file. So accounting, QuickBooks, QuickBooks portable files, and then QuickBooks files copy. And I'm going to be looking into customers problem number 1. Okay? And it's going to ask me where to save. And again, if you don't save, what happens is it's going to actually save it in your local C drive. And if you don't have access to your computer, it will not actually work for you. Okay, so QuickBooks class. And I'm going to do it in my portable files for the AM QuickBooks class. Save. All right. So, if you guys took a glance at the classwork, I did upload all the QuickBooks portable files on there. So, it's split into 3 because Google Classroom only allows 20 files at a time, and I had a total of 45. So I had to split into 3, and I made sure that each section they're all together instead of doing it's everywhere. I made sure that each one was together. So, but how they structure it is not by chapter, it's just by what you're learning in the book. So, again, they are all going to be in the classroom. And how to download it is you're going to have to open the file in a separate window, and you'd be able to press the download button there, or you can right click and save the file. Okay. So I also posted in the first section, I posted the link to go ahead and download it directly from the website. I would prefer you to download it directly from the website because you'd be able to download all of them at once instead of have to click on every single one and download it one at a time. I'd rather you click the actual link. It's called Questiva.com. So make sure that you go on that link and make sure you follow directions because you actually need to select additional product support, and it will be there. Okay, and it is in a zip file, so make sure you are comfortable using zip files so you guys can have an easy way to download them. Okay, so here I updated my stuff. Okay, Also on there as well, I have also posted all the video recordings up to date. So I just have to post this one for today, and you have everything since last week. So I have chapter 1 at 12, 7, 4, and 2. So today we're doing chapter 3. Okay? So here it's going to be populating all these things. So then my computer wants to quit this program. I'm just going to go ahead and ignore that and push through. So I'm just going to go ahead and close out these additional windows. So then again, every time you update it, it will let you have that new features tab and window. So here we are at our home page. Now let's go ahead and see what our first example is. So it asks us on February 1st of 2019. Okay, so we're going to change that to 2020. Create an invoice number 2019 108 for Fang Tim. Oh, wow. It's like we just did this. Classes San Jose. This customer purchased 5 hours of indoor photo session. Use the Santa Clara tax item, and then print the invoice. Okay, I'm gonna do everything except to print that invoice. So first off, how do we even create an invoice? How do we create an invoice? Anybody, don't be afraid to answer. How do we create an invoice?
New transaction at the top.
Okay, but there's one more step before we get to that. We have to get to where in order to find that new transaction?
Customers.
Customers. Okay, so how do we get to the customers?
Create invoices right there on customers.
Yes, this is the home page. Okay,
Do that.
we can do it on the home page. That's correct.
We can right click on the person's name and have the option to create.
Okay, but that is when we are in the customer center. How do we get to the customer center?
We have to go customers up at the menu bar.
We can go to customer center on the customers on the menu bar. Correct. Where else?
And I think we have customers on the icon bar too.
We have customers on the icon bar. That's correct. And where else is the last section to find customers?
The home page.
The home page. Yes. So if I were to click my customer center, it should pop up. Okay, here you go. All right. And to create an invoice, how do I do it from here? So here you said new transaction at the top. That is correct. That is one way right here. Okay, invoice. Okay, we can right click Mr. Tim Fang, and we can create an invoice right here. Create invoices. What else can we do? Where else can we also create an invoice?
In the manage transactions.
That is correct. You make sure in order to do that, you need to make sure that you're in the correct person before you can go ahead and manage transactions and create an invoice. What is the very, very last one that I have spoken to you guys about to enter an invoice?
To click on the company's name and then right click.
Okay, we did talk about that one already. That's
Okay.
We already talked about that. There's actually two more because we didn't explore two
Sorry,
more.
I lost connection of the internet.
No worries. There is two more ways.
The icon bar?
The icon bar, where?
Under customers?
We can go there, and that's going to take us to the customer center.
Oh,
And the customer center, you can do either the top, right click, or manage transactions. There are two more ways we can do this.
turning the page.
Okay. I will tell you this one again.
The icon bar through customer center
Yes.
and the income tracker.
The income tracker, yes. If you remember the income tracker, it's a new feature. Well, I mean, it's been there for a while, but it is new. And you can go ahead and manage transaction and enter an invoice that way. And then lastly, you said to get to the customer center is through the customer's menu bar, but you can also create an invoice right here. Create invoice. Okay? So good. So I'm gonna go ahead and do that way. Because it's already here. I'm gonna create an invoice, and here it's gonna tell me what the new features is for this invoice. And we had that it was for Tim Fang. So again, I can go ahead and type it in, and here he is. And what are we doing it for? Was it February 1st of 2019? I'm gonna make it I'm gonna make it February 1st of 2020, and my invoice number is going to be 2020-108. And what did he buy from us? He bought, was it indoor or is it outdoor photo shoots?
It was indoor.
Indoor. Okay, so indoor photo shoots, and he asked for 5 hours. I forgot to put up here for the commercial class, it's going to be San Jose. Okay, and we have it already set here. So here we're gonna create that, and tax is Santa Clara. There should be no tax. Yes, because of the service. Again, thank you for your business. And he got 5-hour photo session. All right, everything looks good. Save and close. So now, if it also updates here, we just created an invoice for Tim Fang. All right, and I'm gonna just get out of this window and stay. Okay, so that we're in the customer center. All right, so what does question number 2 ask now? Tim Fang only needed 2 hours of indoor photo session on February 5th of 2019. He only needed 2 hours photo session, period. On February 5th of 2019, create a credit memo for 2019-108C to write off the 3 additional hours of indoor photo sessions, okay, for Tim Fang, and apply this credit to the open invoice. Print this credit memo out. All right, so let me go ahead and go into Tim Fang again, okay? And I'm going to go ahead and stop here. You guys tell me, How do I create a credit memo? What do I do? How do I create a credit memo? Anybody? How do I create a credit memo?
Double click on the invoice.
Double click on the invoice. Okay. And okay, so here's my invoice.
Okay, go up to refund credit.
Good.
Click on that.
Good. That is exactly how you create a credit memo. Yes, and it's going to be Tim Fang. All his information is there, except now we need to make sure that we change this to 2028, letter C. All right, and the date for this is going to be February 5th. Okay. How many hours are we crediting him for?
3.
3. That's correct. Because he used 2 hours, and now we need to credit him for 3. All right. Okay, so here we have it all done here, and we're gonna click OK. Now it asks us what are we gonna do? Are we going to keep the credit as a credit for him to use for future? Are we gonna give him the refund, or are we gonna apply it to the actual invoice?
Has he paid for it?
No, he has not paid for it.
Then we would apply it to the invoice.
Good. All right. And it's saying, you mean this invoice? And we said, yes, we want this invoice. Okay, so now the invoice is now updated with the new amount for the new amount, which is going to be now, it is only $285 that we are actually going to be billing him for. Okay. So he used to owe us $400. Now it's reduced to $300. Now it's reduced to $285.
Wouldn't it be reduced to 190 because we're refunding him the 3 hours?
Oh yes, we're refunding him the 285. So yeah, the new total amount is 190. Sorry, my bad. I was looking at the wrong number. So yes, it's reduced. We're reducing the 3 hours right here. It shows us right here that we have a credit memo applied, and now the new amount that he owes us is 190. All right, what does step 3 say? Print sales by customer summary report. Okay, well, I can't do that. So number 4, print sales by item summary report. I can't print either. Number 5, create and print a customer statement for the period of February 1 through February 28. Print statement for all customers who have a balance due. So in this case, again, sales by customers, you're able to do that by going to the reports. Okay, same thing with here. Sales by item, you can go ahead and do that in reports. And the last one is going to ask me to create a customer statement. So let's go ahead and create that customer statement. Okay. So, again, we explored all the options on how to create a customer statement. Okay, so tell me, what are they? what are the three ways we can create a customer statement?
Click on statement on the homepage.
Click on statements on the home page. Okay, that's number one. What's the second one?
Would it be in the menu bar, click on customers?
Yes, that is yep. You can click customers on the menu bar and you can create statements. Yes. Oh wait. Enter statement, create statements, yes. What is the last way you can do it?
The icon bar?
Not the icon bar. That's to get to the customer center. So anything on the icon bar is going to take you straight to either the center or the window. I'll give you another hint. Yes, you can go in the icon bar to get to the customer center.
Okay.
So the next hint is
Wouldn't you just go to the who you're making the statement for and
Mhm.
click on them?
yes, you can do that and you can create a statement here using, yes, create statement. Yeah, create statement right here. Perfect. But in this case,
Now, when you do it by customer, can you still create a statement for all the customers if you go by the one customer's name?
let's try it. Let's see. I specifically only want Tim Fangs, right? Let me see what's going to happen. So if I click create statements, is it the same window going to pop up? Yes. So in this case, yes, you are able to, but in this one, because I specifically only want Tim Fangs invoice, you can go ahead and select the option to create for all customers. And we want this statement date to be at the end of February because that's what we want the date to be. Okay, so 29. And I want it to start on February 1st. And I want it to end on February 28th. So just by knowing that, because we're in the 2020 right now, I automatically know I'm only going to have one invoice and it's going to be for Tim because we just created his just today. But for the sake of this scenario, we are going to also bill out our other customers, but they don't have because what the statement is for is specifically geared towards a specific time period. So again, you're only going to be looking at Tim Fang as of right now. So do I need to show invoice items in the printed statement? Not really. Do I need to print the statement by billing address? No, not really. Do I want to print the due date? Yes. So I will not create a statement for those with 0 balances. I will not create a customer statement for those with 0 activity, and I definitely will not create one for my inactive customers. So now that I've already done that, I can't print, but I'm going to preview. And when I preview it, what do you know? We only have one, and it's for Mr. Tim Fang. And that's where it is. And here you can go ahead and directly print it from here. But in this case, I'm just going to close it. And then you have the print option down here. Okay. Good job, everybody. So, yeah. Let me go ahead and